Every other consort is fighting tooth and nail for the king's favor. I'm the only one dead set on getting the king to divorce me and let me leave the palace. Finally, the king snapped. He grabbed my chin and demanded,
"Are you really that eager to shove me into the arms of another woman?"
I just looked down, silent. I watched as the king stormed off in anger and had me confined to my quarters. Late at night, suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my abdomen. Blood seeped through my dress. My vision blurred. The palace was thrown into chaos. My personal maid, Lucy, was so frantic she began to cry. "Hold on, Your Majesty. The doctor will be here soon." Then she turned and shouted outside, "Go get the king, now." A young eunuch hesitated. "His Majesty is with Serena in her chambers." He ordered no disturbances. We barely managed to get in and deliver the message. But His Majesty said Her Majesty is resorting to these low tricks to win his favor. It's disgraceful. In my fading consciousness, I heard him say, "It felt like 1,000 needles piercing my heart at once." I've been queen for 5 long years. My health was frail, making it hard to conceive. This was our first child together. Now this has happened, and Serena is behind it. Yet he's being affectionate with the very person responsible. And he says I'm the one who'll stoop to anything for attention. I could feel the little life inside me slipping away. A wave of pure hatred surged through me. Just before I lost consciousness, I finally heard the doctor rushing in. The doctor confirmed the miscarriage. Arthur finally showed up too. When I opened my eyes, he was scolding the servants.
"What is wrong with you all? How long has that incense been tampered with? And you only realized after the queen miscarried? Take them all away and have them executed."
Seeing I was awake, Arthur rushed to my side, his face filled with concern.
"Evie, are you still hurting?"
My voice was barely a whisper. I pleaded for the servants. "Your Majesty." Lucy and the others had no idea. Whoever switched the incense knew exactly what they were doing. It would have been hard to detect. Arthur knew it too. The one behind this is Serena, but the Sterling family holds great power at court. And they have close ties with the Queen Mother's family. Her entry served the interests of several factions. Arthur's expression darkened. He waved his hand and ordered a flogging for the servants. Then he dismissed everyone. Then he turned to me and said,
"Evie, Serena cannot be touched. You know how tough this is for me, right? Don't worry. Once this is over, we'll be together again. We'll have children too."
I stayed quiet for a long moment. I'd just heard the doctor whisper that I might never conceive again. I heard it. Suddenly, it all seemed so ridiculous. How many times had I heard this? The first time was when he was exiled, fighting to get back to the palace. The road was full of obstacles. He promised that once he was crown prince again, he'd make me happy. The second time was when he missed my birthday feast because of official duties. He said once he won people over and secured his position, he'd spend more time with me. Then again and again, he told me he had to take concubines. I had to think of the bigger picture. I needed to be more sensible.
"I know you don't want to learn all these fussy rituals. But if you don't manage the harem as queen, you'll be criticized. The palace attire is a hassle. You are the queen. You must never say things like that again. You must mind your every word and action. The instructress will show you slowly. Be good, Evie. What king doesn't have a harem? Valeria needs heirs, it's my duty."
He clearly promised me one love, one lifetime. Yet I could only understand his position. Backing down again and again. Looking at Arthur's young, handsome face, I suddenly didn't want to compromise and beg for his affection anymore. He used our unborn child as a stepping stone for his power, and shattered my last defense. A king's love is too fleeting. I can't bear it. Arthur was a good king. He was diligent, striving for good governance. He cared for his duties and his people. After ascending the throne, he cleared the barbarians from the borders, implemented new policies, purged corrupt officials, and restored peace to a land long in turmoil. His harem was stable. His ministers were loyal, kneeling in court. The Queen Mother smiled, praising him as worthy. His only flaw was insisting, against all opposition, on making me his queen, and giving me the queen's seal. I was a commoner who sold wine to survive. I saved the king's life when he was exiled, so after he was welcomed back, I was brought to the palace too. He promised me I'd be his wife, but I didn't realize then the crushing weight of this crown. I couldn't bear it. In my youthful innocence, I always thought that love could bridge any gap. Little did I know a heart could wear out. At first, when I was unhappy, he would coax me, but later, he just got tired of it.
"How many times have I told you? It's just wrong to ignore them for so long. And when they send food and gifts, should I just turn them away? Now you're weak, but Valeria needs an heir. The Queen Mother is right. I can't end my line for you."
I laughed at myself bitterly. That fight started when I saw him kissing another woman. In my misery, Arthur accused me of being jealous and controlling, unworthy of a queen. I couldn't hold back. I argued with him. Then he stormed off to Serena's quarters, and spent the night there. But that night, the incense was unusually strong. I lost the child right then. I gathered my thoughts. I drank the medicine and lay down. Arthur meant to stay with me tonight, but hearing Serena's summons, he went to her instead. After that day, Arthur lifted my house arrest. I rested for a while, but still felt weak. I summoned the doctor. He knelt in panic, saying I was worrying too much, and this miscarriage had hurt me deeply. He begged me not to dwell on it, and above all, to avoid anger. Years ago, I took a poisoned arrow for Arthur. It took a long time to barely recover. This time, my health was shattered. I understood what the doctor meant. I probably don't have long to live. When Serena came to pay her respects, she gave a perfunctory bow and said,
Your Majesty looks poorly. I hear it takes half a year to recover from a miscarriage. So His Majesty will have to spend the next 6 months with me.
I remained calm. I do hope you'll bear heirs for Valeria. The other consorts should follow Serena's example, and help our dynasty flourish. The consorts in the hall all murmured their agreement, but Serena's face darkened. She was spoiled growing up, and has enjoyed the king's favors since entering the palace. Even me, her biggest rival, lost my child. Now, hearing me tell others to compete with her, she was furious.
The tea here is stale, Your Majesty. Didn't the king give you any of the new tribute tea?
Serena took a sip of tea, and looked at me provocatively. Before I could even react, I saw the jade bracelet on her wrist. The next instant, I gripped the back of my chair. My face turned deathly pale. That bracelet was passed down in my family. It protects the wearer and brings good fortune. When Arthur was injured and stranded, I placed that bracelet on him, to keep him safe. How could it now be on a sterling's hand? I can't help myself. I staggered forward and tried to tear the bracelet off her. Serena screamed, scrambling back in panic.
Guards. The queen's gone mad.
Her eyes darted around, then she saw something. Then she burst into tears. She cried out toward the door, Your Majesty, save me. Arthur strode over and pulled me away. He frowned and demanded,
What's the meaning of this?
He was asking us, yet he had his arms around Serena, his gaze fixed directly on me. I fell to the floor. But my eyes stayed locked on that jade bracelet. I even forgot to bow. With tears in my eyes, I asked him, That's mine. Why did you give it to her? Arthur followed my gaze. Serena cried even harder.
I just thought the bracelet was beautiful, so I asked His Majesty for it. I had no idea it belonged to Her Majesty the Queen. If that's the case, I'll take it off right now.
Arthur's face turned to ice. He stopped her.
If I gave it to you, it's yours. There's no need to take it off.
Then he turned back to me with a frown.
Evelyn, I know you're grieving the loss of our child. Do you think I'm not in pain too? But you're too willful. Using any excuse to humiliate the other consorts. How can you set an example for the harem?
My heart ached terribly. He really doesn't remember. Not our past affection. Not my prayers for his safety. Not his promise to never take it off. A metallic taste rose in my throat. Bearing the pain, I retreated and knelt. My voice was utterly flat. I know I was wrong. Punish me, Your Majesty. Arthur seemed to recall something. He sighed softly.
You're still weak. Rest well in your chambers.
I nodded and stood up, but I immediately grabbed Lady Sterling's arm. I yanked the jade bracelet off, then smashed it on the ground. The jade bracelet shattered into pieces. My last bit of love for him was gone. Before anyone could react, I declared my leave and went into the inner chamber. Lady Sterling's cries rang out behind me, and Arthur's furious shouts. I ignored them. Lady Sterling will naturally stop the Emperor from coming after me, and my outburst served her purpose. The Emperor will only grow more weary of me. As expected, the outer chamber soon quieted down. I coughed violently. My handkerchief was stained with blood. I let anger get to me after all. I disregarded the doctor's orders. Lucy, panicked and worried, helped me onto the bed. She said sadly,
Why didn't you tell the Emperor about your grave illness, Your Majesty? Given the Emperor's past affection for you, how could a mere lady like Sterling act so arrogantly?
I smiled at her. I said softly, if the Emperor cared, he would notice. If he didn't, telling him would be pointless. For the first 2 years, I was deeply loved. Even without sharing his bed, Arthur would still stay with me. The Queen Mother urged him to hold a selection of consorts, but he postponed it for 2 years. I don't know when it started, but our conversations grew fewer. He also began addressing me formally.
As Your Majesty.
Instead of
Evie.
Now, the royal harem has few children, and there are also few consorts, so the Queen Mother has put the matter of selecting new ladies back on the agenda. When Arthur came to propose it, I agreed immediately, which was out of character for me. Before, whenever he took in a new woman, I would always be upset. Even if I didn't make a scene for everyone to see. He knew I was angry inside, and would coax me for a long time. He also never touched anyone else, using busy state affairs as an excuse to the Queen Mother. Lucy always said that even if the Emperor had a harem full of beauties, I would still be the one with unique charm. He always treated me differently from others, but time is long. How much affection between us can withstand the grind? So, Serena entered the palace, and on the very first day of our Cold War, Arthur spent the night in her chambers. In his eyes, I am no longer Evelyn, but the Queen of Valeria, Arthur saw my expressionless face and thought I was unhappy, saying wearily,
Since I ascended the throne, because of you, I've only held one selection, and the royal lineage is thin now, so as the queen, you should be understanding and stop being so willful.
I glanced at him indifferently, picked up my brush to write, and said casually, I am not angry, and the matter of the selection will be arranged as soon as possible, so your majesty can rest assured. But Arthur did not leave, standing there and staring at me intently, as if trying to find a ripple of emotion on me, but there was none. I quietly practiced my calligraphy, like a truly gentle, virtuous, and wise queen. Finally, he showed a hint of panic and helplessness. He rushed over to embrace me. Lucy stopped him. She knelt down to beg for forgiveness.
Your Majesty. The doctor said, her ladyship is very weak right now. She mustn't be jostled.
Arthur was shocked and furious.
Get out of my way. I want to be close to my empress. How dare a mere maid block me? And besides, how could I possibly jostle the empress?
As he spoke, he seemed to remember how he had pulled me away from Lady Sterling. His expression changed. Half of his imposing manner vanished.
Evie. Last time, there were special circumstances. I didn't mean to hurt you.
I stepped back, avoiding his hand. I said calmly, Lucy was only concerned for me. That's why she acted rashly. Please do not blame her, Your Majesty. Arthur's hand hung awkwardly in the air. His expression shifted several times before he said patiently,
Evie. I'll stay with you tonight.
I didn't respond. Your Majesty should stay elsewhere. I am unwell. I cannot attend to you. Arthur had run out of patience. His face suddenly turned cold.
If the empress insists on throwing such a tantrum, then I shall grant your wish.
With that, he stormed off. As usual, I withdrew my gaze. I took a fresh sheet of paper and resumed practicing my calligraphy. The day of the selection soon arrived. I watched as group after group of young ladies filed in and out like flowing water. I couldn't help but speak up. I believe Beatrice is obedient and clever. What does the Queen Mother think? The Queen Mother looked at me with great surprise. A look of appreciation slowly surfaced in her eyes.
I think she's a fine choice as well. What do you think, Arthur?
Arthur's eyes were unreadable. He stared at my calm face, lost in thought. He was jolted by another prompt from the Queen Mother. He said slowly, I just don't feel a connection. The Queen Mother glanced at him. She said,
You must think of an heir, Your Majesty. Let her be selected.
Arthur instinctively looked at me. I watched the elegant and beautiful girl below with keen interest. I remember when I first entered the palace, and I was just as young. Arthur didn't get so much as a glance from me, nor did he see any trace of anger or displeasure from me. His hand gradually clenched into a fist, a cold smile curled on his lips.
You're right, mother.
Only 4 candidates were chosen from this selection. Beatrice was granted the title of talented lady. It was the highest rank among them. Arthur summoned her that very night. I knew he was doing it to spite me. Over the years, the rift between us had grown irreconcilable, yet we weren't the type to have screaming matches, so the periods of cold silence grew longer and longer. But now, with my life nearing its end, I no longer wished to suffer and grieve over him. Thus, I truly had no heart left for his antics. I simply stayed within my chambers day after day. Right. My heart is a tangled web of threads, with 1,000 knots tight within. That was the first poem the boy I once knew taught me. Evie is not the Queen of Valeria now. And Arthur is no longer my arty. My coughing fits grew worse, bringing up blood. Lady Sterling was with child. Arthur intended to promote her to consort. He came to the Queen's quarters to discuss her new title with me. He laid out the options, prepared by the royal household, all while watching my expression. I wasn't feeling well. With little interest, I pointed at one at random. This one will do. Maybe my pained expression gave Arthur the opening he'd been waiting for. His mood instantly brightened.
Evie, are you jealous? I knew it. You've just been putting on a brave face. You hate it when I get close to anyone else, don't you?
I gave him a strange look. I am merely unwell. As the Queen, it is my duty to be magnanimous and tolerant, to set an example for the royal court. Arthur had been waiting for a chance like this for days. And I shut him down cold. He seemed to crumble. He stood up in a rage.
I'll give you one more chance. Just give in a little. Let's make up. Otherwise, you'll never see me again.
My eyes held no emotion whatsoever. Then depose me, Your Majesty. Let me leave the palace. Arthur suddenly grabbed my chin, forcing me to look at him.
I promised you the position of my wife. You will sit on this throne. Leave the palace. In your dreams. I will never let you go.
My days are numbered anyway. I suppose it makes little difference whether I'm inside the palace or out. Hearing this, I just nodded. But I am tired. I should hand over the inner court responsibilities to Beatrice. She's level-headed and steady, and kind-natured. She's fit for the role. Besides, her family's well established. If Serena causes trouble in the future, Beatrice can keep the other ladies safe. Arthur's voice dropped, heavy.
Are you truly set on this?
My tone was calm but resolute. I am. Arthur let out a bitter laugh. He muttered, fine 3 times. He immediately drafted the decree. He even skipped the formal title. He gave me one last, long look, then turned and left. I watched him walk away, still as tall and straight as he was in his teens. But it's not the same anymore. Artie would never walk away from me. I used to sit on the courtyard stone wall, swinging my legs, and he'd sit right below, facing me, reading his books, because that way, he could see me just by looking up. He'd say, "Seeing you makes the day feel sunny, and the sun feels warm on my face." Arthur stopped coming to the Queen's quarters. The chambers felt emptier than when I was confined. I dismissed half the palace staff. Everything finally went quiet. Occasionally, Beatrice would come to play chess and chat with me. She took my hand, worried, and said,
"You've pushed yourself too hard. You need to think of your own health."
I looked at her with a gentle smile. "The palace affairs are complicated. I'm sorry to burden you with them. Are you finding it difficult to adjust?" Beatrice shook her head.
"Your Majesty taught me meticulously. Compared to what you've done, my efforts are nothing. It's just that I have to say this, even if it's out of turn. The king is in a fit of temper right now. Whenever he visits, he only goes to Serena's. Perhaps your highness should yield a little."
Before I could speak, Lucy indignantly took over the conversation.
You don't know, my lady. Our mistress is gravely ill, yet the king is only concerned with his temper. Since the miscarriage, the king hasn't once asked the doctor about her highness's condition. How can you blame her highness?
Beatrice said urgently.
"Gravely ill? Have you sought out any renowned folk healers? Why not tell the king?"
I gently took her hand to soothe her. "I know the state of my own body. Don't trouble the doctor any further. What good would telling the king do? He's not some miracle-working deity." Beatrice's eyes reddened. "But you shouldn't waste your days here either. Let me help you outside for some fresh air." I couldn't refuse her, so we went to the royal garden together. The spring scenery was splendid, and the plants were lush. When my body felt like a withered tree, it was steeped in the vitality of the world. Even my expression grew a bit more lively. For once, I felt a rare joy, took the kite Lucy brought, and sent it soaring into the sky. It was like returning to that little courtyard. I ran against the wind, casting off the heavy palace robes and cumbersome accessories. All I had to do was run forward. No matter how far I went, the boy I loved would be watching me from behind, until I heard Beatrice's voice behind me.
"Greetings, your Majesty. Greetings, Lady Serena."
I turned around. Arthur happened to be looking at me too. His gaze was a mix of emotions. There was nostalgia in it, and a hint of tenderness. I held back my smile, and slipped back into the role of the queen, my protective shell. I walked over and curtsied with restraint. Serena was already showing. She held her belly and laughed.
I'm with child, so I can't curtsy properly. Have you been running around, your majesty? You're covered in mud. How improper.
Beatrice smiled.
"Her Majesty's nature is pure and innocent, a perfect match for this beautiful spring day." The rain-dampened earth must have mistaken Her Majesty for the spirit of spring, and leapt up to embrace her.
Beatrice, you help manage the palace, but you're still so naive and childish. Is this all the queen has taught you?
Her words were a veiled attack. On the surface, she criticized Beatrice for her lack of manners, but she was actually mocking me. Expressionless, I stepped forward, shielding Beatrice. I raised my hand to slap Serena, but Arthur grabbed my wrist. Serena had already started crying out of fear, burying herself in his arms. She claimed it wasn't intentional, and that I was deliberately trying to harm her child. Though Arthur's eyes still held a soft tenderness, he completely took Serena's side.
Serena is young and doesn't know any better. She was a bit rude, so don't hold it against her.
I let out a cold laugh. She's been ignorant and naive all this time, and instead of feeling ashamed, she expects me to let it slide. What a hypocrite. Serena's eyes welled up with tears.
I truly didn't mean it, but the queen is being so aggressive, even refuting your words.
Arthur couldn't save face and grew a bit angry.
The queen is becoming more and more ill-mannered. Guards, escort the queen back to her quarters to reflect on her actions.
I held back the urge to slap him, and instead gave him a kick. Then I took Beatrice by the hand and strode away. Arthur looked down and saw the footprint on his robe, glaringly obvious and covered in mud, and he stood there, stunned. The king's dignity must be considered, but I truly can't swallow this insult. In the past, when I was upset and threw a tantrum, I would give him a light kick. He would always smile and come close to coax me. He never cared about the footprints on his robe. He saw me flying a kite and remembered the past, so I took advantage of that softness to vent my anger. That way, even if I kicked him in front of everyone, I wouldn't be severely punished. After all, I haven't fully handed over the palace affairs to Beatrice, so I can't die right now. The harem gradually realized that I truly had no chance of regaining favor. After all, whenever Arthur and I argued, we'd always make up in the end, because I had slowly smoothed down all my rough edges for him. The king never compromises, so I was the only one who had to give in. Now that I've handed over my real power, and the king hasn't set foot in the queen's quarters for months, I'm left with absolutely nothing except the title of queen. However, after handing over my authority, I found myself with a lot more free time. I started picking up my old hobbies again. Whenever Beatrice came to visit, I'd drag her into tasting wine with me. I also generously rewarded the experienced palace servants who stayed by my side. I often drank myself into a stupor, dreaming of my youth, lost in the beautiful memories of the past. I dreamed of us drinking together under the moonlight, laughing, and enjoying ourselves. He played the flute while I hummed a tune, harmonizing perfectly. Distant lyrics softly echoed, "Spring is not yet old, the wind gentle, willows swaying." The damp rain soaked my heart, beating softly to the sound of dew falling. Only upon waking did I realize it was all just a dream. My daily drinking eventually reached Arthur's ears. He rushed over, snatched the wine from my hand, carried me to the bed, and ordered a search for all the wine in the chambers. That's when he discovered a heavily scented musk sachet at my waist. Arthur's face instantly changed color, his hand holding the sachet trembling almost uncontrollably.
Do you hate me that much?
Squinting to see clearly, I smiled faintly. I just thought it smelled nice. Since your majesty hasn't set foot in the queen's quarters, how could I be so presumptuous? Arthur was speechless. He was suddenly at a loss.
No. It's you who's always picking fights with me. You never understand the pressure I'm under. I just wanted you to think things through.
I leaned on the table. My head felt dizzy. I looked at him, puzzled. I handled the selection process. I never fought for your favor. And calling me petty and jealous is just nonsense. Aside from getting mud on my dress in the royal garden, and offending the eyes of Serena and your majesty, I've always been well behaved. Arthur muttered anxiously.
That's not it. Why aren't you jealous anymore? Evie, you love me so much. How could you watch me have a child with someone else? We don't even have a child of our own yet.
I lowered my eyes indifferently. I said calmly, "Have you forgotten, your majesty? My child died on the very night Serena first shared your bed." Arthur seemed truly shattered. He began to mutter incessantly.
That's not true. That child came at a bad time. There was nothing I could do. I was hurting too. But Evie, we can still have more children.
Why deceive yourself, your majesty? Whether my body can conceive again is something you've known for a long time. Arthur suddenly grabbed a teacup and hurled it. His eyes were bloodshot.
That doctor was a quack. I'll get you a better doctor. We're gonna have kids. Just wait a bit. Wait till I've taken down the Sterling family. Then you'll forgive me. We can go back to the way we were, okay?
His tears fell. They hit my chest. I took a step back. I performed a formal curtsy. My voice was cold. I'm not jealous or unruly anymore. Isn't this exactly what you wanted, your majesty? Why are you crying then? Arthur came to hug me, but I couldn't help coughing up blood. He stared at me in shock. He froze for a moment. My vision blurred, and sounds grew distant. I was dizzy as hell. I swayed, and I collapsed to the floor. I faintly heard Arthur calling for a doctor. But deeper down, my auntie was calling for me. When I woke up, the doctor was trembling while reporting my condition. Arthur's face was dark. The room fell silent. Everyone was afraid he'd explode in anger any second. But everything around me felt unfamiliar. The person sitting there looked so familiar. Like my auntie. But auntie would never be this cold and furious. When he smiled at me, his eyes always lit up. Seeing me awake, Arthur hurried over to ask,
"How are you feeling, Evie? Still not feeling well?"
I studied him, curious. After making sure he wasn't Artie, I finally asked, "Who are you? And what do you have to do with Artie?" The man in front of me looked thunderstruck. He stood there stunned for a good minute before asking in disbelief.
You're asking who I am?
I nodded. My eyes were full of confusion.
I'm Artie. Evie, take a closer look at me.
I studied him for a moment. Then I shook my head again. "No, you're not him." Then I frowned. "Where am I? Evie wants to go home. Can you take me home?" Arthur's eyes reddened. His voice trembled as he spoke.
This is your home, Evie. Be good, Evie. Drink your medicine and get some sleep. Then you can go home.
Then he turned and questioned the doctor in a low voice.
What's going on?
The doctor answered fearfully.
Her Majesty is overwhelmed with worry. It has become too much to bear. Now she only remembers the happy times.
Arthur staggered. He nearly fell. A eunuch nearby steadied him, urging him to take care of his health. I drank the medicine. I glanced at him with concern. "You should stand steady. Don't fall. After I wake up, you'll take me home, okay? Artie is still waiting for me." Tears suddenly streamed down his face.
Evie, you love me more than anyone. How can you not know it's me?
I never even heard him. I just rolled over and went back to sleep. Arthur choked back a sob. He knelt by the bed and stared blankly. Then, after a long moment, he finally bolted. And for more than half a month after that, Arthur never once returned to the royal harem. He buried himself in the royal study, day after day, consumed with state affairs, and with purging the court factions. The thorns had always been in the Sterling's shadow. But now, scandals plagued the Sterling family, one after another. First came charges of corruption and bribery, then, suspicions of factional collusion. This time, Arthur's investigation was a very public spectacle. He shed his usual gentle demeanor and showed no mercy. The Sterling's decline was swift. Serena pleaded with Arthur at the king's quarters, again and again, but she was always turned away. Later, she was even kneeling outside the hall, her belly swollen. The Queen Mother hurried over to plead for her. Arthur simply waved her off, telling her to get up and go rest. But Serena refused to yield, even unto death.
Your Majesty, I beg you to reconsider. My father has always been loyal to you. He must have been framed. Please, investigate this thoroughly.
Arthur's face was a mask of utter exhaustion.
Get out, don't make me repeat myself.
The Queen Mother gave him a sharp, disapproving look.
The harem has no place in state affairs. Serena was just acting out of concern, and she's carrying your child. There's no need to be angry, Your Majesty.
But Arthur refused to budge.
You must be tired, Mother. Take Serena with you. I have matters to attend to.
The Queen Mother was about to leave. No matter how unwilling, Serena couldn't just stay. But her visit had achieved nothing. She hadn't softened the king's stance one bit. The Sterling family's situation grew even more dire. Serena was beside herself with worry. She wasn't even paying attention to what she ate. Somehow or other, the pregnancy turned unstable. At first, they'd thought it was just her state of mind. Until they found something off in her pregnancy tonic. She rushed to the king like a woman possessed, screaming that the queen must have done it out of revenge. The queen lost her own child, so she won't tolerate any other children in the harem. Arthur listened to her rant. His expression turned dark. He gripped her chin coldly and spoke, word by word.
The queen has lost her memory. She probably doesn't even recognize you. This was all my doing. The Sterling family's troubles, I orchestrated all of it. If I hear one more bad word about the queen, I'll have your skin.
Serena collapsed to the floor. She watched the king storm off. In a frenzy, she threw herself against the wall. The palace servants couldn't stop her in time. And both were lost. The news reached the other consorts. Everyone was terrified. Beatrice stepped in to calm everyone down. Things are finally calming down. The Sterling family has completely fallen. The Queen Mother has also fallen silent. She claims to be ill and never leaves her chambers. I just sleep all day. Bowl after bowl of medicine is forced down my throat. But I don't get any better. Beatrice comes every day to personally care for me. She tells me funny stories. She also listens to me talk about the swing in the little courtyard, the rice wine, and the boy. When I get excited, I ask her when the emperor is coming. If he doesn't come, the palace staff won't let me go home. Lucy said, her eyes filled with tears.
Your Majesty, please take your medicine. I'll wait with you for His Majesty to come.
Beatrice's eyes also glistened with tears, but she smiled brightly.
Let me keep you company, Your Majesty. I really do think of you as a sister. Please, think of this place as your home.
I thought about it. I shook my head. No, someone is waiting for me. Artie told me that no matter how far I run, he'll always be there waiting for me. Arthur overheard this. He froze in the doorway, speechless. He strode over. He knelt beside my bed and asked softly,
Do you want to go home, Evie?
I nodded. Your Majesty, I've been taking my medicine, just like you said. I can stand up now. You promised you'd let me go home if I could walk. Arthur managed a smile that looked even sadder than a frown. He said, as if coaxing a child.
Yeah, all right. I'm bringing you home.
The carriage ride was bumpy. Arthur disguised himself and took me out of the palace. We passed through many places, and I watched everything with great excitement. Seeing the prosperous capital and the bustling crowds, I turned to him and said, Arthur, you're amazing. Everyone's so busy and happy. But Arthur just stared at me. His eyes filled with deep pain.
But Evie, you're in pain.
No, I'm not. I'll see Artie soon. I said cheerfully, shaking my head as I recited, our land is splendid, and the world is peaceful. If Artie saw this, he'd be so happy too. Then I looked down at what I was wearing. I wrinkled my nose and asked Arthur, Ahu, can I change into plain clothes? I'm afraid if I'm dressed like this, Artie won't recognize me. Arthur fought back tears. He nodded with a smile.
All right.
I took off my jewels and fancy robes. I put on my old, coarse clothes. My smile grew even brighter. Then I coughed uncontrollably a few times. Arthur quickly handed me a cloak. But I waved it off. I'm fine. I'll be fine once I get home and have a drink. Her eyes lit up as if she remembered something. She turned to Arthur and said, Oh, I just remembered. You look so much like Artie. You must meet him. He's the most handsome, talented, and gentle person I've ever met. You'll definitely like him, he said hoarsely.
Okay. I will definitely take a good look at him.
After traveling for days, we finally arrived at my home. The small courtyard was much more desolate. Vines covered the walls. The door knocker was rusted. Arthur stared intently. His eyes were rimmed red. It turned out that things had changed over the years. He was long gone from this place, but Evie was still here. She accompanied him back to the palace and helped him win over people's hearts. Later, after spending so many years in the harem, when she fell seriously ill, she still longed to return here. He spent decades meticulously planning, putting himself at risk. His ambitions were grand, his aspirations extraordinary. He thought that once he reclaimed the crown prince position, once he ascended the throne as the ruler of the land, once his power was secure and he held sway over everything, he could give Evie a happy ending. But Evie didn't want any of that. She wanted his original vow, to grow old together, and to be each other's one and only in this life. That day, she fainted. Her maid Lucy showed him the words she had written recently. The heart is like a double silk net, with thousands of knots within. Such careful handwriting, just like his handwriting. Back then, he teased her for not knowing poetry. He wrote it just to confess his feelings. He watched her, so clueless, watched her listen to his explanation, then get teased, her cheeks flushing red with embarrassment. She actually remembered it all along, and liked it so much, his youthful tenderness and affection. They wove a net in the end. Evie willingly stepped into it, and kept sinking deeper. The narrow wooden door, the untidy flowers and plants, and the little marks carved on the wall. He grew up so fast. He became much taller than the little girl. Evie would drag him over to compare their heights. Then she'd make him bake pastries as punishment. She was so completely unreasonable. Why didn't he ever feel that way back then? That the little girl was annoying and immature. Instead, he felt nothing but tenderness, vowing to protect her for life, to let her live free from worries, to grow freely, like the wild grass running rampant in the courtyard. Yet for so many years, she's been trapped in this tiny world, all for his throne, never once complaining of hardship or exhaustion. Her health has deteriorated to this point, and she still wouldn't tell him. Did he let Evie down? Otherwise, what happened to that vibrant, bright young girl? How could she end up so silenced by palace robes? In the end, she wouldn't even acknowledge him anymore. Arthur's heart was in turmoil, but I was completely clueless. I threw open the gate to the courtyard, sealed for years. Inside, weeds grew wild, branches ran rampant, yet before my eyes, it all began to rewind. The withered leaves shrank back, revealing a winding little path. The thick locust tree grew thinner and smaller, ring by ring. It was just the right height for me to jump onto. Beneath it lay my secret. It was the wine I'd brewed especially for Artie, buried there. I planned to bring him to retrieve it 10 years later. The moss-covered stone wall became brand new again. The sunlight was so bright every day, warming you to the bone, and as soon as I sat on that swaying swing, 16-year-old Arthur stood smiling under the eaves, holding a book, waiting for me to turn around. Evelyn, the Queen of Valyria, died in that courtyard. When he saw it happen, Arthur didn't even react at first. The person who was just smiling stopped breathing the very next second, collapsing into the grass. That day, the young emperor fell to his knees. He wept uncontrollably. He stayed down for a long, long time. Then, as if possessed, he dismissed all the concubines from the harem upon returning to the palace. Then, clutching the late queen's writings, he drank himself into a stupor daily in the queen's quarters. The queen mother was poisoned. The culprit remains unknown to this day. The palace staff knew full well. It was the emperor's own doing. Later, after persuasion from his ministers, His Majesty finally resumed his former role as a wise ruler. Some sent beauties to the palace, but they received not a shred of favor. Instead, you'd occasionally hear a tearful cry from the queen's quarters.
Evie.
As time passed, the empty harem was no longer mentioned. Many years later, Arthur looked down from the city wall. Fireworks lit up the royal palace. The kingdom was picture perfect. His temples were already streaked with grey. He remembered that year, inside the carriage leaving the city, Evie's brilliant smile as she said, "May our land be splendid, and all under heaven be at peace." That was his original wish. Artie had long forgotten. But Evie, whose life he'd ruined, remembered it clearly. So that day, at the courtyard gate, she turned to look at him. She wished him a long and prosperous life. And an eternal reign.